Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai. So it's been actually in-game, it's been about, I think, 2 years. And once again the British armies are on the move. We're gonna start off with a battle here, but once we're done with this I'm gonna go and show you what's been going on the main map. So as you could see, we've got a new force of men here, which are the British Rifle Brigade, and then we have also been able to get hold of the howitzers now. So we've got 2 units of howitzers bombarding the enemy, and at this point I think they're actually bombarding, yes, they're bombarding the enemy cannons. The riflemen are going to move out, deploy stakes in front of the line, but that's about it for them. They're probably going to retire towards the village, and we're going to see what they can do there. This army doesn't have that many new units, but we are recruiting the leader, the faction leader, is recruiting a new army, which is hopefully going to be deployed pretty soon. Within an episode or 2 I'll be able to deploy them, as we actually take on the enemy afar, as it were, sending forwards our men to by boat to attack foreign land. Don't really like them moving in here. Let's see if we can target some of those guys. And then for the artillery, I think I'm gonna try... Oh, I thought it was actually cavalry over here, but there's no cavalry. Thing is, they're gonna outflank this part, so I'm gonna stretch this line. What we currently is at war with is some of the factions that I was bordering to in the north have gone ahead and attacked me, but if we look at what's happened down in the south, we would see that I've actually gone ahead and defeated all the enemy factions down in the south, and that I've cleared that area out of enemy presence. So we're doing just fine down there, but as it is, the AI kind of, they cannot allow me to go without enemies, so I guess they brought in a few factions that I wasn't at war with, just to spice things up and have them attacking me. Gonna focus in here on some of the units coming closer here. Got a pretty good spot here to throw some shrapnel down on these guys. Highlanders are not faring that well against the enemy clan infantry. We've come against more and more of these modern troops, and it's beginning to become more difficult for us to actually hold our own against the enemy. Let's see, we've got a pretty nice target over there. Let's see if we can blow those guys away. Looks like it's time to send in the cavalry and see if we cannot force the enemy off the field, or at least this side. These guys looks like they're about to break. These guys might need some aid. You know what? Send in the cavalry, and then this cavalry is going to go straight for there. And yes, we were able to send off the troops on this side. And we're about to send off the troops on this side with a cavalry charge. Nicely done, lads. I want you to continue on though into this line, otherwise you're going to get absolutely massacred. I'm going to get the second one to come in as well, and then we're going to continue to pound this advancement of the enemy. See if we can force them to grind to a halt. Let's get the cavalry to focus in on this area right here. Smash our enemies. So at this point, maybe it's hard to explain what's going on campaign map right now, but I've got 3 armies active in the north, with a fourth one on the way, and then I have 2 lingering down south. They are being refitted with new troops and stuff, and hopefully that will come online, as it were, pretty shortly, so we can start our attack, and we could sort of start to see the end of this campaign. Looks like, yeah, I was wondering when the final note of the battle were to come. Luckily for the inhabitants of the village, we didn't actually kill or blow any houses up. We did kill people in here. Think that might have been from the artillery, not entirely sure. Pretty good run though, and that should clear this province. So anyways, let's go to the campaign map now and take a look at what's been going on there. And so here we are with the results of the battle. We lost 800 men, so about a third, so still quite high in terms of soldiers lost. Let's see, the highest kills comes from the howitzer, which isn't that much of a surprise. I want to see where the rifle brigade ends up pretty high as well. They didn't take any casualties at all, killing 185 men. So those guys are really good. And there we have it. We sent them off. Oh yes, it wasn't my turn, so we'll let the turns go, and I'll tell you what has happened. We are back on the campaign map, and I will explain what happened during this year or two. I'm not entirely sure if it was a year or if it's 2 years. I think it was just 1 year, otherwise there would be plenty of turns. Anyways, the battle we just saw took place here during my end turn, so that's why it's no longer winter, so it's just gone from winter to spring, and it was this army that conducted the battle. But look at on the map here, this faction, the Iwakuni, I did have a trade agreement with them, and I was kind of on friendly terms, but I guess because of the proximity to my capital was exerting British, pro-British sentiment to the point where it was actually causing the nearby province to also be pro-British. So I think that's the reason why they decided to declare war on me. And as I were able to move in and crush this faction right here, the factions that got a border with me, which is this one, Matasune in the north, and Fukuyama right here, both of them declared war on me, and so we're in a land war on that front. Then also, I think Kofu, I'm at war with Kofu, Tokugawa, and there might be some more here. Or maybe it's just these two. But it's plenty enough with these two factions, so they're sending ships down to attack me. At the same time, we're allied, we've got military alliance, and we've got trade now with Shimbabara, the Nabeshima faction. So we got trade with them. They have yet to pacify Goto Island, so there's still a war on Goto Island, unfortunately, but hopefully they'll solve that at some point. So that's for that. So the armies I have in the north are these two. We've got George, Hook George, we've got Halton, and up here we've got Gardner moving in to attack this faction right here. And we've got ships to back them up along the coast. Since these guys kind of took me by surprise and attacked me, I had to pull out a force here really quickly that I didn't have planned on at all. And as a matter of fact, they pushed in so quickly and they laid siege to my capital and attacked it. And because the captain of it was able to hold out and defeat the enemy, to such a great extent with the few resources he had. The game actually allowed me to upgrade him to a proper commander. So this is the guy right here. He is very self-centered though. Chubeville. And we're sort of gathering an army under him to move in and destroy these guys. They only have these two provinces as Sioux Town fell to the Fukuyamas because these two are at war with each other. And then I've got my fleets moving around as well. I haven't been yet to move all armies north. So the faction leader, John Alcock, and then Charles Alcock, his son, is down here, and they're training up new armies. So we got quite a few new troops down here. We've got British Guards, and we've got Scots Guards, and we've got more coming in, being recruited here because we've got a war college, but more closely we've got a general staff headquarters here where I can recruit King's Own, Royal Engineer, British Guard, and Scots Guard. So the plan is to have this faction leader as the main army, so the best of the best will be hopefully focused into this army. So that's why I've put the British Guards. And then this one I was thinking of making it entirely more or less Scottish army, so we're going to focus in on a lot of Scottish troops for that army. It's going to take a while though, but later on I'll be able to send them by ship and attack these guys. I'm not entirely sure what my plan is, because I don't want to go the land route through all of this to win the campaign. Instead, we're going to use the British Navy to great effect. So my plan is to move forwards, destroy as much of these two factions as well, trying to become friendly terms with these guys, and then launch pointed strikes from Osaka Bay and march on Kyoto, and then same hit Edo Bay. And let's see, I think there it is, Edo. So from possibly going in here, but I know that they probably have batteries along the coast. So at some point here, being able to land, go across. If I have time to spare in between, I might go and try to resurrect either the Americans over here or the French over here, but we'll see what kind of task it will actually be to launch these navies. So first here, what we're gonna do now is just auto-resolve these two places. But as we can see, the enemy is really ramping up the heat with a lot of modern troops, and their accuracy and so forth is really well, or really good, I should say. And you know what, I'm gonna move out immediately, and I'm gonna strike this army right here, and I'm gonna destroy it. I'm gonna destroy as many of these as possible. Hopefully these guys will actually retreat to give us a little bit of time to reorganize my troops, or more importantly, resupply my troops. I could probably strike this guy as well and destroy them. Good experience gained here by Shelton, or is Helton, I mean Shelton. And off he goes. And we'll put these two cannons will be put into... Oh, this guy. You're supposed to follow and train the troops. Right, so they're actually holding pretty well in the castle, even though everything's burning kind of ish. So I thought they were actually going to revolt really bad once I took this, but it wasn't that bad. So that's good. So we've cut this part off from reinforcements. I've yet to attack this port, but soon I will. And once we take this pretty sure the area right here will be completely pacified, so we can move on in strength. The enemy capital at Bingo is next after this guy is defeated. I've got my spy here, so we can go ahead and check what is ahead of us. And it looks like there's not going to be any more reinforcement, but we gotta keep an eye on this railroad station. It's mine now, so we don't actually need to keep a check on it. I don't think you can move trains into a station you don't own, so that's just fine. Then we go for the second siege, which is up here in the north, and it's a smaller siege, but the strength is really close. So I think we're actually going to go ahead and attack her, so we'll see how this goes. I do have bombardment to call in, so that's good. So yes, without further ado, let's go ahead and attack this little town. The enemy castle lays before us, and one great advantage of having riflemen is I can actually outrange the defenders on the wall. And another great advantage we have now with our howitzers is the howitzer actually damages the wall, which means that I can blow stuff apart, which is very nice. So I don't have to worry about trying to burn stuff down. I'm gonna reorganize the artillery, and we're gonna blow this door up. And then I'm gonna look at the concentration on the map, and it looks like they've concentrated a lot of troops sort of in this area. And that is where I'm gonna blow the shit to hell. The line infantry is gonna conduct their attacks straight on to this wall, while I've got the colonial line infantry and the Scotsmen hiding here in the forest, ready to move up to our actual attack, because there's no way we're gonna try to climb this. And also there's a great chance that the enemy will detonate the bridge as we try to cross it, which wouldn't be very nice. We almost detonated the bridge ourselves there. Holy shit, we set fire to everything with a great naval bombardment. How many bloody shells did we actually launch on this area? Is there anything of this that wasn't turned upside down? I think we just blew everything up. So focused might be just a bit too focused, so I should probably go for a bit more spread out battery charge. I've also actually tested to the point where it no longer breaks the game to call in too many strikes. That's one of the problems I had before, that if I called in too many artillery strikes, there was a great risk of the game crashing. You can see about continuously trying to blow this part up, and I'm gonna tell these two to start focusing on this tower. And once they're ready, oh, the artillery is already ready. So focus in, fire shrapnel and burn that. So I hope I'm right now. It might still crash. So let's look for another concentration of troops. We've got something down here. We've got quite a few. Gonna go area this time around, just because there was so many bombardment, or there was so many shells landing in kind of the same area there. Did we set this on fire? Yes, we set that on fire as well. Then the cannons can fire as they please. And with that tower gone, I can now advance the Scottish troops and the colonial line infantry. Yes, as we can see, it no longer crashes the game. But what it crashes is this nice little pond, which is completely emptied now of water. And it kind of empties these guys from their lifeblood. Holy shit, everything's blown apart. With very few enemy soldiers left standing. We're blowing this castle to absolute shit. There's no way they're gonna be able to stand against this amount of firepower. This is the kind of firepower that will bring Japan to its knees. Let's see if we can break this gate. And however, the riflemen have been firing more or less non-stop towards this area, shooting these guys apart. But I think we're gonna hold fire because they seem to have trouble just gaining that last bit of ground against them, or being able to kill off the last bit of them. You know what? I have enough bloody well of these artillery strikes. So why don't we call in one right there? Have they put someone on the wall? No, they've put someone close enough to the wall that we can shoot them. The enemy has no chance. I'm gonna focus in on this and try to burn the gate. And at the same time we can go and take a closer look at what's gonna go here. So they're moving away because they know the artillery strike is about to land, and there it comes. Blowing everything to shit. And setting the wall on fire as well. In a blast. In a terrible inferno. And that will allow my riflemen to once more open fire, and at a great advantage now because they will be able to fire through the great hole. As that happens, I'm going to tell the artillery or the howitzers to open fire here. And then I'm going to tell these two, you know what, we're not going to burn this gate. What we're going to do is we're going to try to burn this gate instead. So fire for that. The reload on the artillery is so bloody quick. The howitzers no longer need to fire at that area. Everything's blown up, that's on fire. What do I need the howitzers for then? Well, you can fire at that thing. Right, I think it's time for us to make our attack. So we're gonna move one unit up to burn the gate and get through, and then the rest of my men will be able to march through. I've got another artillery that I can call in, and we're gonna call it in right there and blow that to shit. Our howitzers are wreaking havoc on this troop formation right here. I mean, no one stands really a chance. You know, I can... Let's see. How's this wall? How about we focus in on that part?
Victory is assured,
boom,
sir.
Everything's going to focus in on this, diminish these guys a bit, and then I can move forwards the main infantry line. We're gonna move it like this because we do have some enemies on this side that I still want to stay away from. That fire right there. Seems like we started another fire. These guys are cross. Set fire to the gate. So with my newfound power with the howitzers, we no longer need to fear the enemy's walls. The castles will be turned to absolute dust with our modern firepower. So the gatehouse... Oh, they tried to move out of the gatehouse, which just caused them all to get shot to pieces. And the gatehouse is slowly turning into just firewood. They do have some units here, Imperial Lancers and the such, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult for my very veteran troops to break through and conquer this courtyard right here. The line infantry is within range, and has opened up fire on the few remaining troops here. Comes down to the fight here, which is dragging out a bit and causing a few casualties down here. There we go, continue, get that fire going, absolutely destroying everything. And then our troops are moving through. And they're fighting a bit with the Lancers, although I shouldn't say fighting with the Lancers, look like the Lancers are just cutting our men down. And then the enemy general is there with his bodyguard. But I don't think they will be stand against the amount of troops we have, even though they're calling in a few peasants here to come and attack us. Keep the flag! Keep the flag! Make sure that the British... No! He stabbed him right through the neck and then... God damn it. I wish they had something where they always kept the flag up and going so they didn't drop it. Like that someone would pick it up or it... because it seems a bit stupid just to let them drop the flag like that. Well, not stupid. I can understand why they have done it like that, but I mean, no regiment like that would let their flag lie on the floor. I actually lost quite a lot of troops on the first unit that moved in. Can I get the men to kind of come to order? Even though we've got Tetsubo ninjas fighting. Let's see, the smaller unit. If you could come over here, and we could kinda see if there's a way in which we can shoot the enemy down. Guys, open fire! They're right there, destroy them! Pour down fire upon them. I think we dealt with the ninjas. Oh, there's a few guys over here. The leader, oh, he got shot down. And the other two. Would be nice to actually get a stab in on that guy. And those guys are gone for. And that means that, well, it's really a cakewalk now, just to get inside towards the flag. And then what do we have left? Some scouts, some volunteers. The howitzers have used all of their ammo at this point. We have that concentration down here in the forest, so why don't we give them a bit of a salute, shall we? And we'll give them some of the howitzer fire. And the Scotsmen, I'll put you to be the one to shoot these guys down, and the other two, they will be stand here as reserves. So let's go while they do that, we'll go close and watch. Maybe I shouldn't have warned them by telling the howitzer to fire into this area. There's actually a few guys here kind of-ish surviving. It's like a scene from World War I, where they're being tossed around, going in to support the inner courtyard. Okay, so these Scotsmen are in need of aid, so I'm going to move this unit like that, while the other one moves like this and moves to intercept this area, while the howitzers that still has some shots will try to target these guys. Oh, you know what? We didn't even need the flank fire because the enemy got shot down anyways. What we'll do then is we'll prepare for the enemy to come through that door. They'll have no chance. I want to see them get destroyed. Highlanders moving into position. The enemy is... yeah, they are climbing the stairs. Open fire, if you please. I'm gonna give these guys... I'm gonna tell them to fall back a bit. There might be some friendly fire as the enemy is moving forward here. But one by one, like lemmings, they're moving straight into the fire. And there we go. I believe that to be all of them. No enemies are left, and we stand victorious. Victory was assured, and with only 254 men lost on our side, it's a definite victory for the howitzer and the firepower of the British Empire. With this region secure, or well, this part of the region secure, we can move on to the next. But I want to start negotiations with the Sasayamas to see if I can sign some form of non-aggression, which will allow me to, once I've dealt with these guys, to bypass them and then go directly for the surgical strikes that I'm planning to point in with the British Navy to sail up there and launch the armies. Next episode will hopefully see me having concluded some kind of deal with the Sasayama, and also have finished off these guys and moving towards here. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!